All right, hello again, everybody. This is the 15th edition of this live stream series where I'm building a full stack JavaScript application with Express and Vue.js. I'm going to go over the application a little bit to begin with. Let me start here. By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Gwen, and I've been streaming this series for about a month. I also make other coding tutorials and stuff, so if you're into that kind of stuff, you should subscribe to my channel. I'm also on GitHub. This is Gwen F, and this is the repo I'll be working in today, which is curriculum-app. And you can see I kind of filled out the README a little bit so you can see more about what I'm building. It's basically a place for learners to keep track of their progress, create their own curriculum, look at other people's, start or use other people's kind of like forking curriculums. So yeah, it's meant to be a learning resource, and I have the specifications, schema, features, all of that kind of stuff, and also the mockups, which are mostly implemented so far. I am updating these mockups for round 2 to look a little bit nicer and change up the designs a little bit, but it's not quite done yet. So it should be done by the next stream. All right, I have my servers running already. I have the backend and the front end running, so I can open up the app, the Vue.js app on 8080. And first I want to just go to, so if you go to projects here, I have one dev tasks board where I'm just trying to keep track of tasks as I work through them, since I'm only working through this like an hour to an hour and a half and then putting it away for a few days. So for some reason it's showing a little screen here. All right, so let's see. I finished this last time, moved the snack bar so I could use it across the application, and I cleaned up the code a bit. I started changing the form validation. This is try number 3. So I started off with vValidate. I didn't quite like all the extra markup and I guess complication of the version 3 of vValidate. So changed over to use Vuetify's validation. And then I ended up changing to Vuelidate, which I think is simpler and it has enough built-in features so I'm not, writing my own regex URL parser and things like that. So I started with this, but I didn't finish last time. So this check, so let me see. So I guess it's not quite working. So basically the idea is that you cannot submit this form without the name being there. So this is a required field. And then, oh, right, because there's an error here. That's why this isn't validating. So, and then in sections, there's also a required name and validation to make sure that if they enter a URL, that it's a valid URL. But since there's some kind of error, I'm going to see what it is. Okay, so I think this might have been from when I broke up components. So last time, so here's the form page, create curriculum, which is this page. And last time we moved the main form into its own file and kind of created a folder and components for it. So let's see, so main form. Oh, and I think it was at the end of last video when we moved form sections out again into its own file. So now it's saying that section.new resources undefined. So I think it's in here that it's talking about that. And I'm wondering if we imported it. So we have sections here. And I can look in the Vue.js dev tools and see if it's being imported properly. So I have, let's see, one second. So I have sections, add item, delete item. Oh, V was the validation object, which we haven't used yet. So let's see if sections are indeed being imported into this form. So let me go to the Vue tools and I'll scrub through here. I'm actually going to move my face so I'm not in the way. All right, so here, I don't know why, but on this other screen, my face is here, so it's in my way. So I'll move that. Okay, so top now, no, that's not what I want. So in the content, here's my create curriculum main form, and then inside main form, I have V form. Oh yeah, form sections, here's what I want. So I do have, yeah, so it is adding a form section here, and form sections is in this, sections, the sections array is being correctly imported into this component. So let me see, so here, okay, so here I think if I did sections, then that would work. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So sections works properly then. Okay. So this is the validation object. So let me see what that is, if that's being imported, because that's the Vue.js validation object. So let me see. Why do I keep missing it? Form sections. I guess it is form sections. Felt like it was just sections before. Okay, so this is correctly importing the validate. Let's see. So, and it does have sections on it. So that's good. Now, the idea is that it should be able to iterate through these sections, through these, I guess, built-in properties that Vue.js gives us. So each sections.each.iter, and then we can iterate through since we have two sections. So it should be able to do that. And we only have name. Okay. So that's the issue, I think. So here, let me save this. So I think the issue is that we only have, it's only seeing a name field on this object. And we are trying to access different fields. So I think we have to get rid of, or we have to register new resource and any other field. So let me see. So we have this instance object where we define all the fields that we can use in our, for validation, we can use in our validation. So when we loop through sections, the name object is required, but I think we just have to have the rest of the objects. Let me see if I can pass it an empty object actually. So we have, so in sections we have name and goal, and then we have resources and projects, which I'll get to those in a second. And then we have new resource, which is also an object. So I guess we have to do a nested each on the nested objects. Of course, no, we don't have to on the nested objects, but the arrays of objects we're going to have to do more eaches inside. So let me start with goal. And that's not required. There's no requirements for that. So, but because it's not showing up at all on the, where is it? The validation object that we're passing in. Basically, it's not showing up on Vuelidate's validation object. So I think we just have to have it here named. Maybe. We'll see. And then I need to do new resource and new project, and then inside of this I need to have URL and name. So let me see if I can just nest them maybe. URL, and this would be required, and then name. This is quite a bit of nesting, so this would also be required. And then the same thing for new project. So that should be all of the validation. And actually the URL is not required, but it's required to be a valid URL if there's any text there. Okay, so those are the correct validations. So let me try that in the browser and see what errors I get. All right. So that's good. Now I'm not getting errors for these. I'm getting errors for the two that I haven't defined on the validation property yet. So I need to define projects and resources, which will be like this, because I'll have to define an each inside of them. So at the end here, I'm going to do resources, or I guess, oops, what am I doing? Okay, so get rid of that. So each, which is an object, and then I'll close that, and then let's see, so for let's go to sections. So all right, so there's nothing in there. So let me see if I have it modeled. Where is it? So sections, oh, okay, so I still have the old schema here. Basically, I changed these strings to objects. So, oh well. Then I'll just have to, let me actually look at what I have in the back end right now. So in the back end, I have the schema here. So in resources I have is completed, which defaults to false. And then I have name and URL. Yeah, and that makes sense because here, when they're adding a new project, it's name and URL. Okay. That's obvious. Okay. So here, oh, I'm going to call this resources, and then I'll wait to copy it. So for each, I have name, which is required. And then actually this would not be required. So I'll remove that because this is just the form where they can optionally enter a new resource. So I have the resources list. Actually, so these ones are just displaying a list. So I don't think I have to do anything here. So let me just put URL because I'm basically just looping through these to display. Let me see. Oh yeah, this is projects. Let me get rid of that clutter. Okay, so this is basically the whole structure of the form elements. Every single, I guess, input in our form is listed here with whatever validations it has. Pet info. So I think in pet info then maybe I'll put goal and description since the rest of the form has empty objects where I need them. So pet info, I'll do goal and description just to keep it consistent. So goal, put it as an empty object, and then description. All right. So that should work because now when we're passing it to the form sections component, we should have all of these, all of the, I guess, objects passed in correctly. They should be there when we're looping through the V sections now. So let me see. All right. So it's definitely there. But I think we have to reference like $ something instead of this because I think it changes how we're referencing. Where is the place? No, not the placeholder. So it would be, so those are fine. So in sections, let me look at the goal first. So in goal, and now it's saying object. Oh, it's actually showing up. Oh, okay, I get it. So now it's, so like here's the goal. So it's showing that it's an object. So I wonder what would happen if I did that. Let me see. Nope. But if I get rid of goal, like let's say I get rid of goal. And then main form. So in form sections. So then I go in Okay, so it's not. Let me look at the parent and see if it's. Yeah, it's not data binding to here at all. Whereas if I do, well, actually here, yeah, so name is data binding, but goal isn't. And I think even, let's see, no, that's not either. So only name is working here. And then, let's see. Oops. So, yeah, name is working up there. Goal is working fine here. Description is working okay. So, goal isn't working. Let's see. And then none of these are working either. So maybe this might not actually be, well, actually this is the way to properly nest objects because it's working right here. So in pet info, I have name, goal, and descriptions. But in here, I have URL and name, and they aren't working. Let me look at URL. So yeah, it's definitely not working. So let me look at, let's see. All right, so I have URL. I'm definitely importing it, the validator, from Vue.js. So, but it's not, or it's just coming up as an object. This object. Maybe Vue.js doesn't work well nested so much. And then these ones, so maybe I don't actually need these two each loops. I'm going to try it without those two. And now it's not working. Okay. Oh, right. So I need section.resources is undefined, which is why I had those two. So let me just look through the validation objects and see what I find. So in form sections, I have let's see, I have sections, each, and then I have, here are all my objects. So I have name, I have required, okay. And let me see if I'm doing anything different. So actually, yeah. So I think it's just my own error here. So let me try this with goal and see. Oh yeah, what happens? Let's try. Hey Abdullah, how are you? Or good morning. So where is goal from here? Let's see. Oh, here's goal. Awesome. So it didn't, I guess, so it's not giving goal its own object because there are no validations attached to it. Yeah. So there's no validations here. Okay. So, okay, let me look at new resources then. Let's look at new resource. And it seems like, I guess these two, URL and name, aren't on new resource. Wait, they are. They are at the bottom. Okay, that's good. So I think I'm just modeling it incorrectly again. So let me take that and new resource dot name dot, yeah, I'll just add dot model at the end of these. Section dot, okay. And then section dot resources, I'll have to change that too in a second. So sweet. Okay. So that's good. And then I have to change it to, on the projects, I just have to do the same thing. And that will get rid of the object. Sweet. So now if I save resource, it's not letting me save. Oh, because URL regex. Because I got rid of the custom regex and I'm trying to use the Vue.js regex. So regex, where would that be? Let's see. Regex, no, URL. Okay. So when I add item, I press this button and it's looking for URL regex, but it's not there. So instead of this, I need to be testing if, yeah, I need to be testing if there are errors in that field. But let me just get rid of this for right now and get rid of the URL check. And yeah. And actually for all of these, I just need to be testing for errors. So, okay. Now I have another problem. So section.goal is undefined. Yeah, section.goal is undefined in form sections 72. So form section 72. So I wonder why section.goal. Oh, I think because I took it, I don't have it in here anymore, so it must have just been a lagging error. So let me do this then, and with the empty object again. Awesome. Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you. I just got home from a meetup, actually, where we were talking about coding and mentorship. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun live streaming this series. So let me see if goal works now. Yay, there's no errors. Okay. So name goal. So it didn't save, but there's no errors either. So let me see if it showed up in the list. So let's go to form sections. And there is a resource in the list, yes. But it's not displaying here. So let me see why it's not displaying anymore. So here's the add item button, and then this is the loop that displays the resource. So it loops through section.resources and displays the name of the resource and also gives you the ability to delete the resource if you want. Okay. So I have to see if resources is on, I guess section is on section. So I wonder, did I take that off? Yeah, I still have resources here. Yeah, the problem with this is that I'm looping through the validation to use it for the form items, but also resources, the resources, where is it? Resources array is inside of the sections, but it's not really a form item. It's just displaying a list of the resources that get appended to this array. So yeah, I guess I could, because I'm not gonna, so I need to not have it for each there. So I'm gonna have to see if I can just have an empty object, I guess. And not sure if that's gonna work because it's an array, but at least it will not throw an error, I think. We'll see. Maybe it will. Because I have to, yeah, that's gonna throw an error. Oh, URL check. Wasn't expecting that. URL check. Oh. Okay, so basically going to get rid of all of this checking because it's all going to change anyway. So I'll just leave that. Get rid of that. And I think this should work. Okay, and it's still not displaying. So I'll have to debug that loop in a second. So let me see what it is in the validation object, because I know it's showing up correctly here because I have both the resources that I just added. So let me close that, and then in the validation object I have sections. Yeah, I'm going in each and then iter, and then here's the object, and then I do have resources. Which is, let's see. Yeah, so I think I'll have to do resources model and then loop through resources.model to display those. I think that's what I should do. So let's see. Okay, so resources. Where's resources? Okay, here's my resources loop. So I need to, I'm looping through section.resources, and then I need to be looping through .model, and then .model. And then that should be, have the name and URL in it. So let's see if that works. Nope. Do I have an error? I don't have an error. So let me look back at this. Sections. Each. I wonder if there's a way to bookmark this so I don't have to go through each time. Okay, so here I have resources and then .model. Okay, so I have the two resources there. So I need to really find out if what this loop is giving me, because I have the correct data in the correct place. As long as this is correct, section.resources.model, yeah. So that's correct. And then yeah, I don't see anything apparent here. Section.resources.length. Oh, so actually it might not be displaying at all. So I think I have to do that. Yeah, sweet. Awesome, and it works. All right, yay, I'm happy about that. So all right. Sorry, I'm just kind of reveling and figuring that out for a second. Let me fix the other one now. So let me change the if statement on projects. And then let's see. Oh yeah, and then I have to loop through section.projects.model. And then, okay, and that works too. Okay, and now I need the validation to be working correctly, because it is showing up here like it's saying that, let's see. Let me get to an invalid field. So it's saying that there is an invalid field, but there's no error showing up here. So that's what I have to fix. I need these errors to show up. And then I'll be done with form validation. Okay, so I don't, let's see. In Vue.js, I don't know where to put my face right now. Maybe I'll put it here. All right. The chat's kind of quiet today, I think, because I changed the times for my live stream. So I'm hoping next month I can get it on a pretty regular schedule, because I won't be traveling for a few months and I'll have a pretty good routine. So what was I looking for? So let's look at the basic example. And it's not required, so okay. So let's look at the HTML. So I have the, what did I put in the name? Yeah. Input. So input label. Okay, the error class field is required. So it's just doing some basic v-ifs here. So we need to copy this, but I think that, let's see. I think we can pass it into the Vuetify inputs, so we're using the native Vuetify styles for it. So let me search for validation here. Validation. Did I go to the right place? I feel like I'm not in the right place. Oh, let me search for Vuelidate because they'll have an example. Yeah, here it is. All right. So here's a Vuetify example for Vuelidate. And so how does this work? Okay. Yeah, so it is using the native Vuetify errors, and let's see how it does that. And it's matching up. So it's mapping. So Vuetify by default handles these for you, but since we're using Vuelidate, it's mapping these events from Vuelidate to the Vuetify text field. Okay. So, hey Jean. Yeah, I'm really liking Vuelidate so far. I like the switch from vValidate. So error messages. So we pass in the error messages, and then I think we'll need to map these events, but let me see. Let me pass in the error messages first, which okay, these are the validations, data. On data. So name errors, email errors. So I guess under the hood, it's just giving me these. Oh no, I see what it's doing. That's right. So they're computed. So it's checking. It's basically doing all this custom logic. So it's checking. So if this field is not dirty, return errors. If it's not errors.push item is required, so it's custom pushing an error. Oh, so it's returning an empty array of errors here. Okay. Okay. So I guess we're going to do custom error messages like this then. So let me start. Yeah, I'll start with this name field up here and do a custom error. So I'm going to copy this to start with. And let's see, in main form. And then I have to clean up all this. So let me put it after the validations. Let me put it before methods. So computed object, and then in here I'll put name errors, and maybe there's a better way to clean this up. So we have this already, which is our validation object that VueLidate gives us. And then .name happens to be the same name as our main one. Oh, okay, but it will be .petinfo.name. What is name doing then? I think that was legacy. Let's get rid of that. And hope it didn't break. Did it break? No. Okay. So that's fine. Yeah, that was... Yeah, because it's not on here either. Okay, so we have petinfo.name. So if it's not dirty, meaning if it hasn't been touched, we don't want to show any errors yet. So yeah, pet info. But if it has, so we don't, I mean, I guess we should have a max length. That would make sense here, but then we're going to have to add it here. No, here. So, okay, so yeah, I should add max length. Let me go ahead and import that because that's something I'm going to need to do anyways. And since I'm in this mess, might as well. So max length. And then how are they defining it? Okay. So it's a function. And max length. I don't know. How long should a name be? Maybe we can give it a max length of 20. I can always change. And then I guess we don't have anything in the database stipulating the max length, so I guess we'll have to add it there too when we figure out what we want. Okay, so anyways, let me do pet info. So if petinfo.name.max length, so basically be at most 20 characters. At most, that seems very verbose. So basically, if it's too long, then give them an error. Must be, I feel like I should put less than, but I guess it's the same. It's really the same amount of characters. Okay. That's fine then. I'll just leave it. And then I can add pet info here. Pet info name is required. So let me add a period there. And then a return errors. So let me add, don't like that space. So let me add name errors to that field, which is this field. So I can put errors. Let me make sure that's what they have. So error messages. Okay. And then nope. There's no error messages. So I think I do need to map the events here. Oh, sorry, I didn't see this. Yeah, if you look in the description below, it should have a link to this repo, the GwenF curriculum app. It's basically for learners to create their own curriculum, share curriculums, and keep track of their progress. So here, I need to steal these events. So maybe this will work. Let me see. Oh, what am I doing? Pet info. I didn't do that down here, did I? Oops. Pet name. Good. I didn't make that mistake. So yeah, name, touch. Okay. So let's see. Yes. Awesome. And then let me make it long. All right. Yay. Sweet. So that works. And because it's dirty, it'll show that in perpetuity, I guess. And then I would just have to map these same events and error messages to, this is the only required one in the main form, and then in sections the name is also required for every section that they want to add. So I need to add, actually I'll just use the same, well, I guess it's kind of the same, exact same errors. So I could just pass the name errors along to form sections, right? Oops. So if I pass these and then, well, let me define it as a prop first. So name, was it name? Yeah. Name errors, which will be in array. Okay, and then I'll define it here. Error messages is name errors, and then I need to figure out the input and the blur on here. So before I save this, wait. Oh, so I guess it will be the same thing. It will be section.name.model because here it's the exact same between model and the touch methods. So let me do this. And that should work. Let's see if it works. Let me refresh it. Okay, so it doesn't work. So I'm wondering if... So first, let me see if this exists. Let me look in the Vue Dev Tools. And I'm in the form sections component, looking at the V object. Am I in? Yeah, so I'm in sections and I'm just looking at the name. So in sections, oh right, because it's looping. So each iter, and then in the object I'm looking at name. So here's name. And then, so I wonder if touch, so I guess it's not, but I'm wondering if it would show up anyway here. So let me look at, where is it? Pet info. Let me look at name here and see. Required max length. Oh, right. So I don't even have, I don't know if I have these things on. Yeah, let me see. I don't think I have those things. V.section. So I have v.sections here, so I'm passing in, if you look here, I'm passing in, where is it? The $V as V into this component, and then I'm looping through them. So each section is the $V.sections.each.iter. So that's why it's working for model already, which is from Vue.js. I feel like this is just nested on so many levels now. So yeah, so these names, so I need to match up the names and make them the same. So I'm going to add the max length. It's already required, but let me add the max length here and then see if it validates correctly. It's not. Let me see. Yeah, it's not for max length either. So let me look at the input. Yeah, it's form sections. And if I look in the V object, so I don't here, because it's already referring to the $V that I'm passing into this component. But here is where I'm using the validators, and I refer to it on these ones, like in the parent component, in the name, goal, and description. And then form sections, I'm just passing in the $V. So that's why in this text field, I have section.name.model, and which maps to, let's see, this, which maps here, which is inside the Vue.js validation. So it's mapping correctly. So we know that section.name is working here, but the touch, or I don't think these events are working. Let me also make sure that the name errors Oh, that was really dumb. Okay. So I think this is the problem. The name errors I'm passing is not the right thing at all, because here I'm checking for petinfo.name, but for some reason I'm passing name errors into form sections. So I think if I do this, let me see this, name is required, and now it also validates here. So I'm doing completely the wrong thing. I need to make like a section name method here or something. Oops, what did I just do? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, let me put it back. So yeah, let me say section name errors. So now this is trickier, because I'm going to have to pass in the index of the section. So I'm going to have to do this dot v dot, let's see, oh, dot sections. Let's see what it is here. Dot sections, yeah. So I wonder if I need to do dot each dot iter. That's a lot. I guess I have to for here. I wonder if there's an easier way to do this. Dot each dot iter and then dot name. Oh, oops. Dot name, and then this one would be that. Let me see if that, no, it doesn't at all. Oh, I'm not passing it in, and I need to pass in the index. Oh, right. So here, sections at each dot iter. And then section would be at an index inside of here, so it would be at I. That's a lot. Let me see if this works. So then first I need to pass this in instead of name errors. I'll pass it in as name errors, but from this component I'll call it, or it's called section name errors. But in this one, it's still going to be called name errors. And then I will have to do this though. I need to pass in the index, which is k from the loop up here. So let me try that and see. Oh. And there's an error. Yes. Not unsurprising that so here it is. So name errors. Yeah, I'm doing this $V. Let me see. This is undefined. Let's see. Yeah. So it's undefined for some reason. So I could set, I guess I can set some kind of debug here. I don't know why I just by default put a semicolon after that, but nothing else. Okay, so it's not stopping, I think, because it doesn't call this. But, oh, it's erroring before this. So let me, oops. Let me put it here. Okay. Let it load. All right. And then, so it is sections dot iter. Wait, am I in the way? No, I'm not. Okay. Okay, so section name errors is an empty array. Undefined dot name dot max length. So I think it appears that, of course, I can't chain on max length because this is undefined. Let me see here. Yeah, so I can't, so name, so why is name undefined? Should it be undefined? Let me see. Oh, is it not letting me? Let me play this then. Okay, so what did I do? Let me go here. And it's not showing any data. I wonder if it's because my computer's running hot right now. All right, so let me see main form. So I can't, oh, I need to play. It's just continuously. Okay. So there we go. So now in main form, no, that's right. So every time I click on it, it goes back. So let me see. We have name errors, section name errors, error during evaluation. So what I want to see is if sections each iter. So we're getting this far without any error. And then name is also an object, so I don't see what the problem is there. Oh, wait. It's doing... Yeah, so this should be fine. And then name, and then dirty. So it seems like we have everything here that's correct. But yet, it's not working. So each iter... Yeah, and then we have the array. Let me see if... where is it? So what's being passed in here? Because it's supposed to just be the index. So I wonder if the index, where is it? Because when we're doing a regular Vue loop, just in an array, this is the index. So I wonder if it's doing something different here. But that's, I mean, I can't see Vue letting them do anything different with the index. Let's see what the key is on this element then. Oh, I can't because it's in error. So, oh, actually, so this must be a string. I think that's the issue here. And that's why it was showing up as 0, 1. Because in all of JavaScript's goofiness, it lets you add a number to a string. Okay, so I think that's what it is. So, I mean, I can just try to, what is it, parse int, and then, oops. It is parse int, right? Yeah. And then I think base 10 is the default. So let me see if that works. Where am I? Let me refresh. Can I refresh? Okay. For some reason it's running really slowly right now. I wonder if it's a Firefox problem. Usually when this happens, either it's Chrome's fault or Firefox or some kind of browser issue. No, so maybe that's not the issue. So I wonder... So I is... Pet info? Why would I have all this stuff on it? Doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, okay. So maybe it's not letting me pass this into name errors. Actually, what am I doing here? Actually, that was also dumb. So name errors is an array, which I'm just displaying here. And it's being mapped to here. So that I'm returning. No, it's a function. I'm passing a function. Yeah. Okay, so I'm passing a function, and let me take that out then. So this should say that it's a function here. And then I still should be able to pass in k as the index. Let me see. Let me look at the console. Iter I is undefined. So I have to see why I can't pass in the index here, because that would solve everything, I feel like, if I could pass in the index. I wonder. So let me just pass in 0 and see if that works for right now. Yeah, it's running really slow. I might have to continue this next time. Or just figure this out in between streams. So I passed in, yeah, so Vue.js is passing in its own object here, it seems, for the errors. Let me see. Where is it? Here. So it's not passing in any custom thing here. But you have to be able to. I just can't see you not being able to. No, that's not Vue.js. That would be Vuetify, I guess, because that's where the error message is. So let me look in Vuetify for error messages. Pass through custom error messages. Inputs. This is what I want. So, error messages. Okay, so it has to be string or an array, which it's computed, so alright, so this is more complicated. Maybe I'm not thinking about it correctly. Maybe I need to step back from the problem and rethink this, how this framework works. And also, I mean, this is really, really deeply nested. I'm not sure this is the intended, or this is the way they intended for me to do this. But other than once this is figured out, then the only other thing will be to do the URL checker, and then the form, because the form already works, the submission of the form does. And then, wait, let me go to the project and see. So once I figure out that piece, then I just need to update the designs and a few more things with the form, and then I'm gonna add the auth, and then I'm planning on pushing this live for people to test out on probably DigitalOcean. That would be the easiest thing. I might do it on AWS, we'll see. So let me close this and see. Yeah, maybe my computer's just running slowly. Nope, it's more, yeah. So it's still undefined, so I do need to step back and think about how I can get that. It might be in, let me think, because computed, wait, this is a computed element, so I don't know. Because in computed, so in a computed method, let me just look at Vue computed. So in a computed method, I can obviously pass it arguments. I have to be able to. So what is that? Watchers? Oh, computed versus watchers. So okay, so it's saying watch versus computed. So maybe watcher. Okay, getters, setters. Let's see, maybe is watchers what I want though? I'm trying to read this really quickly. The watch option allows us to perform an asynchronous operation, limit how often we perform the operation, set intermediate states. No, I just want a simple computed property, that's it. So in the computed, of course, none of these computed methods show it passing in a value. It's got to have an exam. Let me see. Vue, what was it? Vue.js pass in argument to computed method. So top answer. All right, so I should. Right, I think I remember now. So maybe I should be using a method, but then again, so maybe I should be calling a method from here. Let me see. So if this was a method instead of computed, it wouldn't be watching for changes in these data values though. So, and also for some reason, this is supposed to be a string or an array of error messages. Will be combined with any validations that occur from the rules prop. This field will not trigger validation. So, I mean, I could, I guess, test this very easily because I just move it to methods. But I don't think that will work because it's not watching. Let me see what it does though. All right. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Okay, so that seemed to work fine. I feel like I had made the same mistake last year or something. Anyways, let me try to test this out. So just to make sure it's different. Section name, yeah. Okay, so it's working just fine. All right. So in that case, I feel like to make this consistent, I should move them all into methods maybe. Yeah, maybe I should. Because I don't want one in computed and then one in methods. That would be weird. So, okay. So I have this as a method, which returns an array. And then, yeah, so I might as well just go ahead and add the last one, which is URL errors. But I'll keep it consistent, so I'll do section URL errors. Okay. And then all I have to do is change this. But instead of dirty, I want if there's any value there. So let me see. Actually, I have more errors in the console, so I have to see what those are also. So let me see form sections. So I'll get to the nested URL. Each iter. All right. So looking for resources. Each iter name. Oh, right. So this would be under new resource in URL. Okay. So it would be new resource URL and then model, and I'll have to check the length on the model. So I don't want both of these. I definitely don't want required for this because the URL is not required. But let me move my face. All right. Wait, there's too many things nested here. So let me see. So iter, then new resource. So it will be in new resource. Then actually I'm going to need this same method for projects. So I'll probably pass in the string project or resource and do the same thing I did in the other function in a second. So new resource, and then .url, and then .model, and then .length, because I don't care whether it's dirty, but if something is typed there, it has to be a valid URL. So let me just copy this, put it here. Must be a valid URL. Okay. And then I need to pass this in to here. And then I need to define this in props. Let's see. Which is a function that I'm passing. And then it's here. This is the URL. So let's see, section URL errors, and then I'm going to take this and just swap those out. And then I do want these two events here. So but instead it will be this. Okay, I'm just going to refresh it. And then, okay. So that didn't work very well. Oh, right, and I'm still passing in the 0, so that's a mistake. Let me pass in the index again. But wait, is that... So this actually here... So I think So before I do this, I'm gonna parse int the index. And let me see. Yeah, so that works. So this is a string now for some reason. That's fine. Well, it's fine for here because I'm using it as a string. So I will pass it in here, parsed, and then pass it in here as well. Which, is this another loop? Wait. Am I... No. Okay, that's good. So, section URL errors. And let me see what that is. So let me go to form sections. Section, okay, so I'm passing it in. The function is correct. And then, am I putting it in the right place? Yeah, I'm putting it in resources. Hello again, how are you? Good to see you. I'm just finishing up my stream. It's already been over an hour and 30 minutes. I just want to not stop in the middle of this. So I'm wondering why this URL, so this is working fine, and that is not working now, but I don't think that's an error. So I'm wondering why that one isn't working. So I'm passing in section URL errors. Maybe I didn't update it here. Let's see. So These are all the same in between it, but here I have new resource.url.model.length, and I could do a breakpoint here and see, but my browser's starting to run slow. Okay. So why is nothing breaking? Oh wait, here it is. For error messages, expected string array got function. Yeah, it doesn't like that I'm passing it in a method. But it's just a warning, so string array. And that's a warning from Vuetify. But it's resolving to a string anyways, so let's, oh right, I was in the wrong box. Okay. So I'm waiting. Here we go. That's correct. New resource URL. Model.length. So let's see. Let me move this. Oh, I'm in the way again. So there's no errors. But length here, where is it? Come on. So length here is equal to 1. So maybe I think I'm making a mistake here. So let me rethink this. So I have basically, if this is true, return that there are no errors. Return this empty array of errors. So if there's length here, then this is true. It resolves to false. So I think that, no, I'm right to put the bang there, because if, let's say the length is 0, this would be false. This would be false, but it returns true because of the bang. Okay. So it would return errors, but it doesn't run that because now something is there. Oh, I know what I'm doing. So here I'm checking the max length and required. So I need to be doing that here. I need to be checking that it's a valid URL here. So new resource.url. I don't want to check model. I'm just checking model.length here because if there's nothing there, I don't even want to, look for errors. Okay, so that's what I need to change. So let me get rid of the debugger here. And refresh. All right, so here, let me see what it's called. So in form sections, have, let's see, pet info, sections. So I have sections, each iter, params, new. So in, yeah, it would be a new resource, and then URL, new resource URL, and then URL again. Okay, because it is the URL validation. That's the name of the validation that I'm importing here. So instead of using max length or required or one of those, I'm using URL. So here I would just be checking URL. And then if it's false, it's going to push an error here. So that should work. Let's see. Yeah, because before it was exactly the same as this, so of course it would never push an error even though it was returning, even though it was getting past this if statement. Okay. Sweet, awesome. So let's make sure that example.com. Yeah, awesome. So it's all working now. Oh, so happy about that. Okay, and in the process of getting this to work, for some reason that's not working. Let's see, name errors. I wonder, because it was working when it was in computed. I only moved it because I had to pass something into the other one. So let me move it back and see. If that one works. Oops. Okay, so yeah, so it seems like these are all working now. Okay, and then finally. And then I'll have to redo the error checking here, and then in, where was it? Error checking. Oh, right. And form submission is all the way up here. So, but I do need to disable the button if there are errors in the form. I need to disable this button. So let me see what they're doing in the example here. Where is it? Oh, I think I navigated away from it. Yeah, here's Validate. So they must be, click submit. So maybe in the submit function they're checking for errors. Nope, they're not. All right. Because when I was doing this, or the checking with just Vuetify, it was built in. But now, let's see. Oh, it is checking here. So it seems like, yeah, because, okay, so because the events and the errors are bound to the Vuetify text field, so maybe if I just submit it, it's automatically going to check. Let me make sure my submit button is inside the form. Yeah, so save curriculum is inside the form, and let me hit. Oh, let me refresh it first to reset these. No, that's not what I wanted. So I was thinking it would. Let's see if it. Nope, it's definitely not this button. It's inside the form. Let me see if I'm doing it the same way that they're doing it. Yeah, I have an @click event and then calling a method. Oh, right, this is what they're doing. So let me go back. So they are, where is it? They're touching the fields, which will mean that the required fields are going to be dirty. So that's going to cause errors because they're calling this here. Okay, that makes sense. So let me run that method then. Oh, but okay, so I'm gonna have to, because this method here, save curriculum, is actually being passed into main form. So I'm going to have to pass errors or validation or something. And I don't want to pass, I don't want to have, more than 2 parameters here. So what I could do is, well, I suppose I could update. I mean, I could move save curriculum into the form component, or I could have an intermediate function that checks that the form is valid here. I think that's what I might do. Let me fold these. So in methods here, I have add section, I have delete item. Let me submit form, submit. And then from here, I'll call the touch function. And then I will call, let's see, submit from there. And then I'm gonna call this.save curriculum from this function. So first, let me see if the touch works. So let me, okay, that works great. So all these required fields are now invalid. That's good. So now I have to say that, how do I check if any fields are invalid? And I might not see this in the Vuetify docs. So let's see. To check if fields are invalid, so touching, no. Yeah, I think, where is it? No, there's nothing here. So let me, where would it be? Not in here. It would probably be in Vuelidate somewhere. Oh, wait, so I could check any error, I think, on the parent. So let me see here. Let me look in main form on this $V object. So any dirty, any error. So let me get rid of the errors. And then any error is false. Okay, so I can just check this any error really. So let me do that, like if this dot $v dot any, wait, is it $? Yeah, $, any error, $, any error. If not, if there's no error, I want a not here. Okay, so, and then I'll put this inside. Okay. Oh, this is going to error too because these are referring to data properties now. So now it's not in my template. I have to put this. Okay. So I think that's good. Maybe. So if I save, it makes these dirty. And now the 2 required fields. Now I can save. No. Oh, okay. So this is another error. Well, that's good. I'm working my way through the errors anyway. So, okay. It's trying to reference this .refs .validate, and because I'm doing my validation elsewhere, I can now get rid of this. So where is that going to? So yeah, I'll get rid of this whole if statement. Sweet. All right. Yeah. And I don't think I need this ref anymore either because I'm not referring to this form of the ref anymore now that I changed to Vue.js validation. Okay. So now when I save, makes them dirty, and now there shouldn't be any errors. Sweet! And now it works. Yay! It took over an hour and 45 minutes to finish setting up Vue.js. Alright, so now I am going to officially move that here. There's probably still some testing I need to do, but I'm not going to worry about that. I mean, I'm going to do that when I'm not on the live stream, so it's not too boring. So what's next? So I think this is fixed already. I have to check. The front end, of course I said that before and then it came back. Oh, I think because the loop is different, that I'm looping through the Vue.js object. I think it's not making the same error. So anyways, I need to hook up the checkboxes. I keep saying this, but I really do need to hook up the checkboxes. What is it? This one. So these checkboxes need to be hooked up, and implement the new designs that I'm going to upload. So I think I'll do the checkboxes first and then the designs, and then what is this? Get resources. Oh, this is basically this, so I just need to change projects over to this. So I'm actually going to move this here, and then because this is just copy paste, so I'm going to do this after the stream and then finish that. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm going to log off and get ready, and I'm going to push my code as soon as I get off here. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Have a good night or morning or day, everybody. And I will be back on. So my hours shifted, like I said, this week, but I'll be back on Sunday at 11 a.m. this time, Eastern Standard Time. So it's an hour earlier than I usually do it on Sundays. Have a great night. Bye.